Well, it's all a bit snowy here in paradise at the moment. If I take you to the window, you can see three little not dusty, snowy little cars. And it's holding up our merchandise, obviously, because we can't send stuff out at the moment, and we're waiting for hats to be delivered. We've only got 11. Where are they? Hey, there we go. 11 hats left, so it's all getting a bit tricky. But it does give me an opportunity to give some feedback on a recent video. And I've actually got some notes to try and remind me what I was going to discuss. And specifically the Allegro, which has gone down an absolute storm. It's been a very popular video, as I thought it would be, having seen how popular both the Montego and the Maxi videos were. I thought, yeah, people are ready for some hot Allegro action. So yeah, thanks to my mate Josh for letting me have a drive of his gorgeous 1100 Deluxe with the rubber mats. And we'll get straight into steering wheels, because I wasn't quite aware of the history myself. But it turns out that not all Series 1s had the Quartic square-edged steering wheel. It was only up to early 1975. And this one was a late 1975, one of the last Series 1s before they changed to the Series 2. So, all a bit curious, but that's the truth of it. It always had a round wheel. They were never popular back in the day. Today, now the Allegro has a cult following, the Quartic wheels are far more popular. Very strange. Of other things, there were cliches and comments I was expecting. I was obviously expecting more aerodynamic backwards than forwards, but that's true of a lot of fastback style cars. Because going forward you have to have a fairly upright windscreen to see out of, and a big air intake in the front for air to come into the engine bay, so those aren't very aerodynamic things. I mean, some people say that's disputed, some say it's confirmed, but it's certainly plausible because of that very reason. And the other one was windows coming out. People would talk about you jack them up in the wrong place and the rear window would come out, but actually the anecdotal comments in the video suggest it's more likely that the windscreen would pop out. And again, there's people saying, well, I jacked mine up and that never happened. And that's certainly possible. It depends how well the windscreen has been fitted and how well the body shell has been put together. I mean, I find it a bit odd because it is reckoned to be torsionally very strong, the Allegro shell. And it needs to be, because there are no subframes, so everything is bolted directly to the body. You need that to be very strong. And BMC, which became British Leyland, had a strong reputation as well. The Land Crab had one of the stiffest bodies going, and that didn't have subframes either. So the reputation was there. I do find it odd that it happened, but I'm not going to say it doesn't, because I've got anecdotal people saying it did actually happen to me in the comments, rather than they've heard it on the internet or Jeremy Clarkson told them. I have a very different view of these cars compared to Clarkson, which brings us to the next point, which is, what is a crap car? Because Jeremy Clarkson would apparently consider pretty much anything British Leyland made to be awful. But my own personal findings are that, well, the Allegro seems fine to me. But of course, the one I drove is a survivor. It clearly wasn't one of the bad ones, or it wouldn't be here. It would have been scrapped long ago. And people have been asking in the comments, well, what is a crap car to you then? And that's really difficult to say. I have driven a Vauxhall Viva HC, and I wasn't very impressed with that, to be honest. I found the Chevette was much better, despite having the same engine. But could that be just two different cars? If I tried another Viva HC, maybe one with a slant 4 engine, would I like that a lot more? It's sometimes hard to say. One car did spring to mind today, and that is the Volkswagen Golf Mark III, which I think is a thoroughly charmless car. My friend had one. It was very capable transport, but it was a weird time, because Ford was well off the ball with the equivalent Escort, the Mark V Escort at the time. And I don't think the Escort was a dreadful car, but nor do I think it was a good car. And the Volkswagen Golf gets a reputation of being reliable and robust. But actually, I've driven Mark II and Mark III Golfs, and I just find them uninspiring. And I think, to me, what sums up a crap car is one that doesn't deliver what the expectation suggests. I get far more joy out of cars that everyone says are crap, and I have a drive in them and think, well, actually, I'm having fun. This is great. I expected nothing. I'm getting something back. The Matiz is a case in point, really. I mean, no one has that bookmarked as a fine handling car or a particularly quick car or one with exceptional build quality. And yet, I find driving it an absolute hoot. Part of it because of that ridiculous three-cylinder engine, which is sadly a bit more muted now I've fitted the air filter correctly. I might have to undo that again. But yeah, it does make it difficult for me sometimes to say what is a crap car. I mean, I drove the Bond mini car and that was horrific, and my short drive in it was kind of enough. I wouldn't fancy driving that big distance. But then the Invacar is not exactly a distance machine. So sometimes you just reset your standards. I mean, by any stretch of the imagination, Tuk is absolutely awful. But look at her cute little face. I mean, you can forgive that face anything, and I do frequently. What else have we got? I think that might be about it, but let me just check my emails because I've got my computer open right behind you. Yes, there we go. We have now confirmed the venue for our little HubNut social gathering. So I have the details on a card here. We will be gathering at the Yew Tree Inn in Colden in Staffordshire. The postcode is ST103EJ, and the pub is run by a man called Dan, who I went to see the other day. There's a picture to prove it. And as you can see, he has a 2CV and a little Austin 1100. And yeah, inside there's lots of bike stuff going on, lots of old memorabilia. I think it's going to be a fine place for a gathering. What I will say is, to help Dan out, because it's not the biggest pub, we need to know numbers. So the date for your diary is the 9th of March. That's a Saturday. We're going to be there from 11 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That is going to be our session. And obviously you're welcome to arrive at any time, but it would really help if you could indicate when you're planning to be there and how many people, because I'm slightly worried. This is the first time I've ever organised one of these. I'm slightly worried it might get a bit out of hand, and we might end up with too many people. There's comfortably parking for, I'd say, about 40 cars, but if we get more than that, life is going to get very exciting. So yeah, here we go. The first HubNut Social is quite exciting. I'm quite excited about it. I hope you're excited about it. But yeah, there is nothing organised for the day. It is turn up to the pub. They have a reputation for excellent pie and mash. If you manage to find someone to drive you there, they also do real ale and age the casks on site as well. So that's all good to know. And like I say, it'll be quite an interesting venue as well. And I've gone for Staffordshire just because it's nice and central. I've just got to hope the weather isn't like this, because yeah, that's not what we want to see. I don't think Tuk will be there. I'm not sure which cars will be yet. Will probably take too long. It might be Ellie and the Matiz, it might be Ellie and the Favourite. Not actually sure yet. We shall wait and see. But yeah, it should be fun. Really looking forward to it. Also, if you head to hubnut.org, let me just check what I've called it so you can find it. Problem with doing these things live, even though it's not live, but I'm trying to record it in one take. It just makes life easier. I quite like the feel of one take as well. Yeah, if you go to hubnut.org, there's a tab, Show Attendance in 2019, where I've started to list some of the events I'm going to be at throughout the year. The next one I'm going to be at is the Parallel Pomeroy, which Toyota GB is organising at Silverstone Circuit on the 16th of February. It's called the Parallel Pomeroy because the Vintage Sports Car Club have a meeting called the Pomeroy Trophy. So this is kind of piggybacking on the back of that, and I'm going to be there driving a car from Toyota's Heritage Collection. So that's going to be quite a lot of fun. It should be a really good event. And then the next one after that is the HubNut Social. Later in March we've got the Practical Classics Classic Car and Restoration Show. There's a handy title for you. That's going to be at the NEC, a bit smaller than the November show. At the moment I'm not on a stand, so I'll just be floating around the show taking it all in. So you might see me wandering around, you might not. And then on the 31st of March it's the 50th birthday of the Citroën Ami, or however you want to pronounce it. It's the spin-off from the 2CV, so there should be a really good turnout of those. That's going to be RAF Cosford at the RAF Museum they have there on the 31st of March. So lots to see there, very interesting place to visit. And I'm sure there will be other events, I'll be adding them to that list. And depending how this first meeting goes in Staffordshire, we shall see about further HubNut socials. I quite like the idea of doing different things around the country, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're up to 10 minutes of waffle. I'm going to wait for the snow to go away because there's a car in the garage that you're going to want to hear about, and in a couple of days you will. It's one I already own. You can probably work it out. So yeah, there's been some progress there I look forward to reporting on. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to hubnut.org for merchandise and for calendars, and occasionally I write stuff there as well, not so much these days. But otherwise, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.